What's that Beyonce song? Can't remember it.
If you like it, then...
No, not that one. Well, that's what everybody said, but I don't know. I can't think of it. God, your face. God, dang.
There she is. Hello.
How are you?
Doing well yourself?
Pretty good.
Other than the static shock that he just gave me.
I know, I heard it too.
What did I do? What?
I had to. You moved your face away from your computer, and your headset just gave off so much static. It was ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
I'll add Adam also.
I'll sit here while you guys, talk
Well,
for
you're
days.
You're the one that's moderating the shit. Alright, so if you guys have questions, write them in chat or write them in T-Force chat in client, and we'll take a... fucking answer them. I couldn't think of it.
Okay, let's get this shit on the road.
Wow, okay. Yeah, we have rules here, Pone. You can't just walk up and be like, yo.
It's my goddamn battle arena. Let's go.
What the fuck? No, this is my goddamn battle arena.
It's
You
my
get out of here
goddamn
with
battle
that
arena.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
shit.
Okay. Someone said I was quiet, so I was checking.
I'm highlighting, so I'm not even gonna be part of this.
Oh. I guess zero.
No one wants me to talk, so.
What rank are the people that run this? I am Gold 1.
Platinum 3, the host of the Trinity Force podcast. Please go check it out, trinityforcepodcast.com. We release every Wednesday and Friday. We also go live every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We release content for you guys to make you better at this game. The Trinity Force proper is a way for you guys to listen to patch notes, breakdown, PBE breakdown, listener questions, whatever you have to offer, we will take care of it for you. We also have the LCS Rundown, which goes live every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time and comes out every Tuesday sometime during the day. That'll break down all of your professional sports. We also have the Oz LOL podcast, which is your Aussie brothers who take care of patch notes and the oceanic scene. Not to mention these guys that are doing Battle Arena right now, Nick and Asterition.
Oh my god. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you called me by my first name. Damn, that's...
Badger
Yeah,
and Asterition who take care
didn't
of Battle
call me
Arena.
by
So any of
my
you guys
first
who are brand new, shut up. Any of you guys who are brand new to Battle Arena, listen up. Here's how this works. Every week on Tuesdays, Saturdays, we take care of North American. Saturdays is your Bronze Boot Camp from noon until 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They take care of all you Bronze people to play in the games you saw tonight. On Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, these two guys, Asterition and Badger, take care of the normal Battle Arena. You guys see how that works. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. CEST is the European West version of it. And also there is an Oceanic at 7 p.m. AWST on Thursdays with the host of the Ozello podcast, who is Carrot Colossus. Boom. It's like I've done this before.
I was about to say, it's like you've done this before.
Or it's...
It's like you've done news for the last 172 episodes of a podcast. Cough, cough, cough.
Or he's looking at that fancy Google Doc that
I got
we have.
nothing up. So give me questions, guys. Shoot,
Yeah, we'll
shoot it to
take-
me in Twitch chat.
For questions, I saw one about Madstone.
Wait, really?
What about it?
amazing.
Madstone on Shyvana. Yes, no.
No.
Amazing. I like
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a waste of time to build it on Shyvana. Yes, you have a lot of sustain, but you are wasting stats.
Yeah, the
By
mana
building both of those?
regen. And, well, the health regen isn't... I mean, health regen's alright on her, but the mana... I don't...
Right. No, here's the reason you don't build Madstone
Yeah.
on Shyvana. Because Shyvana needs to get tanky very quickly, and you're delaying the point that you can get tanky, and you're spending a lot of time in the jungle jungling. First of all, you shouldn't be jungling Shyvana anyway, because Shyvana has no gank pressure.
Yeah.
And she only has counter jungling pressure. Now, if you were going to spend a lot of time counter jungling, absolutely build Madstone because you're going to kill the counter jungler you're going to kill the counter jungler one, and you're going to kill the counter jungling camps very quickly, or the enemy camps very quickly. Other than that, I really wouldn't take Shyvana into the jungle because she's a better top laner thanks to her trade ability because of her percentage of life off of her E. When she hits it, it's 2% plus Q will hit it twice, doing another 4% damage. So that's just one reason. Plus, she pushes very heavily, and she can build tank because she gets a lot more gold and CS. You are basically delaying the game by putting Shyvana in the jungle. If you're going to put somebody in the jungle that want to build Madstone, Udyr, Yi can do it as well because they are junglers who will jungle and can build damage and also have ways, innate tankiness. Master Yi is deceptively tanky.
Okay.
Oh, here it comes.
Where's that? Question: what's your favorite flavor of that? Okay, Zero. What's your favorite flavor of that super addicting Gather's gourmet granola?
I haven't
So-
gotten any yet.
Unfortunately, Days, you are not going to get any because you're not on the podcast. So
No,
you'll
I
have to
ordered it.
buy your own. Oh, you will?
Yeah,
I'm not
might
trying to be a
order
dick when I
something
say it like that. I don't know how else to point that out. But yeah, no, absolutely go out, guys. bit.ly/T-Force granola. My favorite flavor so far is the Turtle Tracks. That is, here, I got it right here. It is pecan, dark chocolate, and cranberry.
Right. Matt Stone on Vigar, or not on Vigar. Yeah, Matt Stone Vigar. New OP. Matt Stone Skarner. The problem is, when you build Matt Stone, that means you have to build a Feral Flare, and Feral Flare's Skarner isn't really that strong, I'd say.
Mm-mm.
He's more ability based and doesn't.
Well,
okay.
Elder Lizard is
question
just way too good on him.
Yeah, I was about to say Elder Lizard's pretty good, or Golem if you want to be.
Mm.
Golem,
I hate
maybe.
Golem.
I don't know. I don't play Skarner, so I couldn't.
Okay, so Skarner right now, Madstone, no, because you build Feral Flare. Madstone, anytime you build it, so anybody who's asking, what Madstone in this, Madstone in that, think about it this way. You are taking all of that time that you could be ganking and could be influencing the game in other ways. You are turning that time into farm time because you expect yourself to be super powerful at mid and late game because you'll have that Feral Flare so quickly because you clear so quickly. Now, Skarner, he builds a Spirit of the Elder Lizard to give him extra damage, and he also has pretty good gank potential pre-6 because of that slow on the E, not to
The
mention the
stun
stun
now.
now of his passive.
Yeah.
So you want to build Skarner in a way that you are getting 6 as quickly as possible without sacrificing anything. Which is that when you're building Madstone, you're sacrificing your time that you could be ganking, and you're also sacrificing time that you're moving around the map.
He offers your team so much utility that it's really a waste to just have him sit in your jungle the whole time.
Yes.
Vigar tips. Does anybody here play Vigar? 'Cause I don't-
Vigar tips. Max Q, harass very hard in lane with that. Make them think that you're going to be dropping that Horizon Gate at any point in time to stun them and throw them into a full combo. It seems counterintuitive to max that Q because you want the damage off of W or the extra stun time off of E, but he has a lot of harass potential because the range is usually longer than an auto attack range of anybody else. Plus, it's a targeted ability. So while you could be gaining AP with it, by maxing it, you're doing extra damage to that champion and making them so you have that time to farm. Yes, you will gain AP if you use the last hit, but you need to trade off. Is me targeting that champion with that Q worth the damage that I'm losing for the AP? Normally, yes.
Normally.
One
then
thing
you
I
get
want
this
to
free farm.
add
Go ahead.
that I don't play him at all, but just as a general rule, sometimes when you have a hard stun, the threat of the stun is actually a lot more effective than the stun itself.
Oh, yeah.
So don't use it for no reason because you're actually zoning them just by having it off cooldown. One of the really easy things to learn is as soon as something comes off cooldown like that, you go in on them. So having that ability up and not just throwing it away for no reason is actually a really powerful tool in lane.
I know for a fact since I'm a mid player and I've played a fair amount of Vigars over the years. I play assassins, and when you're playing like a Zed or a Riven or something like that, something that gets into their face, even a Kassadin, I would say, if you burn the event horizon and get your way around it, that's an advantage right there, and you should take any opportunity you can to throw damage down right on the spot there. Anything else? Is there any way out of bronze?
Yeah, it's called duo queue with someone that you trust indefinitely.
It's called play in Battle Arena.
Playing that.
You guys gotta learn how to tip this stuff. Come on, it's like I've been doing podcasts for 3
I know.
or 5
Well, I mean, I'm just looking for questions through here, and that's the one that I saw. So, I don't know.
Anybody
I
out of
actually-
bronze? Yeah, go ahead.
I actually managed to make my way out of bronze on support. So they tell you that you can't It is possible. You
You
can.
just have to have a
if you
reliable
really,
AD carry.
I actually did it solo queue. I did not.
Really?
do it the
That's
way I-
impressive.
So you have to, if you really like your role, my advice is to find one or two champs that you really, really enjoy playing, and play them until you can play them against any lane that you're going to come across, and really just learn the nitty gritty of the champions. And once you do that, it's a lot easier to carry your way out of, because you won't have to worry so much about the mechanics of the champion, and you can worry about the role that you're playing.
There are almost no counterpicks in this game. Like, the only counterpick that I can think of off the top of my head is Fiddlesticks into Vlad,
Yeah.
because his Drango super. Like, that's the only super hard counterpick in this game that I can think of. There might be a couple others.
I don't know.
There are people that are just significantly better than other people, like stronger against them, just because they either outrange them or whatever reason. So maybe not counters, but definitely like light counters and medium counters.
Yeah.
For sure.
Who to pick into different people,
Yeah, the
like
hard-
who works better.
I would also say, if you're working your way out of bronze and silver, learn mechanics in CS, because somebody who has, if you have like a 5-0 Caitlyn, somebody who has 300 CS, and then that Caitlyn has no kills, you are the same power level at that point.
Yeah, pretty
because
much.
you have the same number of CS.
Like,
I know that's a
Seven,
you know, that's
isn't it like
it's
15
13 CS is one kill.
Okay, I thought it was 15.
It's like 13 to 15 depending
Yeah.
on
It depends on
CS.
casters or melees or cannons or
Mhm.
whatever. But now that you mention that, we're gonna in the new episodes that are coming out, the Journey to 30, we definitely go over how important CS is. So we'll we will go over that more.
And that's
on the Journey to
Wednesdays,
30.
right? At 7
Yeah,
p.m.
I was like,
It's
yeah.
just 7.
I gotta talk to you after this, by the way, about something about
Okay.
that.
Okay, I was thinking of just a general tip when you climb ladder is find a champion that you can make work for yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be like an OP champion like LeBlanc or Braum if you're playing support or something like that. Or like a deemed OP pick. I played Oriana, just safe mage, just like something safe, something that you know that you can win games with, something that you can hard carry with if you're ahead, or something that you can kind of support with and be utility wise.
I carried myself with Annie through
Yeah,
gold,
Annie's
actually.
a really good champion to actually carry with.
I carried myself through Leona and Lucian.
I used Annie, Sona, and Zyra because I found that I'm really good at engaging, and if you can engage properly when the other team can't, that's a huge advantage for your team.
I played Ari before like everybody figured out that you built DFG on her.
So
I played that,
hipster?
like-
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I played that like a month before everybody else. And then Faker started playing it in OGN, and I'm like, man, I've been
Oh.
using that build for like a while now.
Faker, why are you sniping off a bad?
Yeah,
dude?
seriously,
Stop
Faker.
watching me.
Seriously, Faker, I mean, stop.
All
it,
right,
dude.
give me some more rapid fire questions, guys. I don't have the chat up, so.
You were saying that pick champions are. God, there's like nobody even. Are you guys gonna do an analysis of each player? No, that would take too long.
And Badger sucks at analysis.
Oh, thanks, man.
Just kidding.
I love it. I love you. I love you too. Come on, questions? Opinion on mating a role or mating a champion and a role to climb.
You pick
Whatever
the
you're
one.
best at.
Yeah,
Whatever you're best
whatever
at.
you're best at, but also pick the one that you like the most. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I've been having a lot of success and I'm really enjoying support. Then, not just because you feel like you win more games, you may feel like you win more games as like a carry, doesn't necessarily mean that you do. I quickly realized that I play a really good Leona, and despite my natural affinity towards the mid lane and AD carry, I still play a really good Leona. So I played a lot of Leona, and I ended up doing really well, and it got me ahead. I also really like Leona, so...
Alright, here's one, and Adam, I'm gonna let you talk about this because I'm pretty sure you talked about this on the podcast. It's actually coming out either tonight or tomorrow.
It's already out.
Oh, it's already out? Well, go listen to episode, is it 172?
You got it.
Yep. Do you think with the AD changes, going Brutalizer on AD carry would be a good pickup? It just seems like a way better item than that stupid Essence Reaver. And with a couple Doran's Blades, you can sustain. Not to mention, you'll be hitting your Brutalizer way before your opponent hits IE.
Okay, here's the deal on how you want to build Brutalizer. You build Brutalizer if you are ahead, unless you are Twitch or Vayne. still with either of those champions. So people like Lucian, Twitch, or Vayne more than likely will build a Cutlass first. Lucian, you build Cutlass into Trinity Force. So Lucian is Cutlass in the Trinity Force. Twitch and Vayne are Blade of the Ruin King into Brutalizer into... I can't remember the name of the item. What does it build into now? Yumu's Ghostblade.
Ghostblade.
Because of the move speed increase and the attack speed increase. So Brutalizer is a fantastic item if you are very much ahead in the bottom lane. If you are 2 kills ahead and you can come back with the Brutalizer before that person comes back with any other item, if they come back with a Vamp Scepter and you have a Brutalizer, you've won that lane. But if you are coming back with a Brutalizer and they have a BF sword, you are now losing that lane because they're going to naturally do more damage to you because their abilities are going to scale better with the raw attack damage over the pen that you're gaining off of the Brutalizer. So building Brutalizer is one of those items, again, if you are ahead in the bottom lane, you are winning your lane, your support is helping you out, build it early. Otherwise, build it as like a second item on attack speed champions like Twitch and Vayne. Speaking of Essence Reaver, never build it on an 80 carry unless it's like 3rd or 4th item and you are way ahead.
Yeah.
Because you are sacrificing damage to have mana. And if your skills and your auto attacks aren't doing damage, it's not worth picking up that item because you're not going to be able to trade effectively. Sure, you are Jinx and you hit a point of equilibrium where now your Fishbone doesn't take any mana to use, but you're not doing any damage with that Fishbone. So at what point is that worth it to you? For everybody who's played this game, it's never.
Alright, here's one. I had it, where does it go? Shit.
Is it the support one?
Yeah.
Nami
for
should
days.
Nami and Janna be
Oh, yeah,
the
there
new
is.
OP supports with the changes to AD items? Well, the one change that buffed supports with heals and shields, I don't think that that just doesn't mean they're like the new OP supports. Like just because one item makes someone stronger doesn't mean that they're broken.
What do
or
you think,
strong.
Daze?
I was about to say, Daze.
Nami's strong. Nami's actually
Yeah.
been strong. She's just one of those sleeper champions that nobody noticed until OGN started picking her up, and now LCS is picking her up. Janna, I love Janna as a champion. I love her kit. Personally, I think she's fun to play. But pretty much everything she offers to the team is done more efficiently and effectively by another support. Nami's one of those supports that does almost everything that Janna does, but better. So I don't think that Janna's going to make a huge comeback. As far as the new item for the supports, it's
That
not
Ardent Sensor?
right. It's not something that you want to rush. If you don't want to rush attack speed on an AD carry anyways, it just doesn't offer. If you're not doing any damage and you rush attack speed, you're not doing any damage, just a little bit faster than you were before. You offer way more utility to your team if you upgrade your GP10, you get your Sightstone, you upgrade your boots, and then chances are that's when your team fights are going to be starting, and that's when you're going to want to either pick up Randuin's or Mikhail's or Locket or something that's going to offer your overall team. I could see that being like a late game item on some of these champions. I just don't see it as something that's you're gonna rush or a specific reason to pick a champion.
Well, considering Janna's shield doesn't always go on the 80 carry either,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
if it's going on the 80 carry, they have 6 seconds with that attack speed. They're only going to get like 3.5 seconds out of that attack speed after she's used that shield, while somebody like Nami could potentially put that attack speed on 2 people with her Essence Flow bouncing twice. Or
Right.
Ebb and Flow, excuse me.
If it bounces twice, though. That's assuming it bounces twice.
Yeah.
Right.
In the middle of
Alistar
a
is the
team
only
fight,
one
it
that's
probably
like
will.
quote-unquote OP with it because he'll heal everybody, gain everybody attack speed. But like Day said, why would you rush it when you can make yourself tankier or bring more utility to your team with Mikhail's? You have to look at what the enemy team is doing. Do they have a lot of slows? Do they have a lot of stuns? What do they have? You have to build accordingly. That's the entire thing of League of Legends. The entire premise of League of Legends is trying to counter the enemy team, and that's how you build your items. Same thing with boots. Boots are a big one people forget about. Like boots of swiftness, I think is a really overlooked item because a lot of times people don't have stuns, but they have slows, and you can build boots of swiftness on those people to make it through that team and get to that 80 carry.
What was it?
Oh,
Someone asked about Blue Ez.
Blue Eyes is
not good.
Yeah,
Not good. I was about to say.
You can't kite anymore.
If you're gonna play 80 carries, the top 80 carries right now are Kog'Maw.
That's really strong.
Kog'Maw
is fun. Dude.
Twitch is actually super strong right now, even
Except
though
his
he got
early
some
game.
nerfs.
He got nerfed, but
His
the
early game
itemization
kinda
is in his
suck-
favor.
Is less as strong than it used to be. But
Lucian is not as strong early, but he's still a strong late game as he was before. He's still strong in lane because double auto attacks make him just as strong. Vayne is strong in the right team comp. Caitlyn is just as strong as she's always been because she can stand back and farm and get IE. And Graves is completely and totally dead.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Graves.
Which sucks because I love playing Graves.
I'm
I
so
love
happy
Graves,
because
but-
I never thought he was that good in the first place.
I always built Bloodthirster, PD, Blade of the Ruin King, and just split pushed. Because you could do that. I mean, he was strong, he had great burst, he could 1v1 pretty much anybody in the game.
Right. I don't want to give too much away, but if you guys are listening right now, please go listen to the podcast we posted. I don't know how many people are watching anymore. We talk a lot about this in depth, and one reason that Graves is completely dead is because BT, you are paying 400 more gold for 30 less attack damage and a shield. Like, that's not worth it anymore.
I don't know.
When crits decide lanes. So you might as well...
I'm gonna find a way to make Graves work just to prove you all wrong.
Nope, it's not possible.
No, he can't because he doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't get the raw stats anymore from the items.
Yeah,
so he's
which is the
completely dead.
problem.
Tristana is actually really good right
Yeah,
now as well.
Tristana's pretty good.
Tristana's, she's really good.
Caitlyn takes too long. Whatever power Caitlyn had before, and like Caitlyn Varus,
I love Varus, don't you dare.
No, Varus is dead too because Varus used that
Varus-
BT a lot for his
BT,
abilities.
Last Whisper, the Legolas build,
Yeah.
and that's dead.
No, Caitlyn isn't dead. She's not
Just
as
takes longer
good.
to ramp up.
Yeah, the problem here with 80 carries right now and patch 4.10 itemization is that 80 carries now take an extra 5 to 10 minutes to ramp up, where before when people were bitching that 80 carries couldn't carry, people want 80 carries to carry in the mid game. Well, they changed items to make it so 80 carries can carry in the late and really late game. You know what I'm saying? So now 80 carries can absolutely carry with all the itemization changes to 80 carries as well as Warden's Mail being changed, but they don't do as much damage in the early game as they did before. So you are sacrificing a lot, any champion that you build right now, by having to build that IE. The champions that are really good, like Kog'Maw, because he has a built-in attack speed increase, he has built-in range increase, and he gains a lot off of percentage of life damage and lifesteal, which you get everything from Blade of the Ruin King with that. And then Trinity Force, of course, you can proc the Sheen every time you eats an R or whatever, you know. Even Q now. Q's fantastic off of Kog'Maw because he can proc another proc of Sheen with that ability.
Yeah.
There's something about just the Nibbit said something that caught my eye that I wanted to say, and I can't remember where it was. I'm going to try and scroll back up. Oh, it was Bork vs. Hydra. There's an article about it that I read. If you just Google Bork vs. Hydra on Zed, you can find it. Just wanted to get that out there.
What did we look at?
It was
just
Bork
like
is
what you're
mathematically better in almost every single aspect because it synergizes with your ultimate and gives you
That and
it
it's 10 seconds on Hydra.
It
CD.
doubles your damage. It
Oh, yeah.
like double. It
I
doesn't
remember.
just. It doesn't just give you. It
Doesn't
actually
surprise
doubles
me.
the damage
Oh,
because it procs twice.
shoot. 80 episodes of the podcast ago?
Yeah.
I can't believe we've done this many. We talked about BT versus Blade of the
I
Ruin King and
remember
being
that
Blade
episode.
of the Ruin King.
I remember that episode.
It's sad that I remember that.
Yeah, that was like episode 80 or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
That was almost a
that
year
was
ago.
a long time ago. Yasuo
Yeah.
top. I enjoy playing Yasuo top.
I hate it.
You have to get an early lead to make
Yeah.
it super
Yeah,
top.
you have to. I mean, against like a Renekton, you're kind of in trouble.
You
but
shoot against anyone that has mobility, literally.
well, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
It's one of those things you have to be really skilled with Yasuo to make it work. Because you
Like,
have to know how his E and
if
dodge
you know all your combos and stuff on Yasuo, you can make it work. But the problem is, you have to get it. Like Pone said, you have to get an advantage early. You have to get that static shiv before they get their first item, or you're fucked.
He works so well in the mid lane because AD champions do so much damage to mid lane champions because they don't have any armor or life to start with, and he has a lot of mobility in the mid
You
lane.
can dodge a lot of stuff, a lot of pain that isn't directed at him, just skill shots.
Because they don't do any auto attack damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're auto attacking me while I'm Eing around, but now I've come into you and I have my E stack to 100% damage, and I've
Unless you're Soraka, and then you just shit on him, but you can't do that anymore because then you're Soraka. It makes me sad.
Or you're Karthus and you just Skittle, and then you.
Or Kale.
I know.
Kale is really
I know.
good against Yasuo, by the way, guys. Kale's amazing against Yasuo.
I saw something about Kale what counters Kale earlier.
Ziggs.
Ziggs
is pretty good
anybody who
against
has
Kale.
high burst in the early game. I like to play LeBlanc. I actually like, as bad as this sounds, I like to play LeBlanc into Kale because you can do so much damage early. I mean, they nerfed the silence, but you can still hit like a truck at times. And if you catch her when her ulti's down, she's fucked.
Yeah, and also it's not a very like. It definitely you have to be really good with him, but I've seen Zeds completely take Kale for like the most roundabout beating of her life.
You just have to bait out the ultimate, and then you can kill her. It's essentially what you have to do with 90% of mages. Is if
We
her
actually
ulti's
talk
down.
about Kale quite a bit on this podcast as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Kale. Absolutely love her. I think
She's
I
getting
don't-
nerfs on the PvE, so that's why we talk about her.
Yeah.
Her splash damage is now going down to a 0.2 AP ratio right from a 0.4,
Which
and her
is
attack
fine.
speed is going to 2.2 from 2.4.
I just got someone message me. They have a question. Do you think that Hydra is good on AD Nidalee? I don't think
No.
over Bork, but I'm gonna let you guys talk because you guys play more Nid than I do.
Hey, we talk about this on the podcast as well on episode 172. You guys are asking everything that we took care of.
So go listen to episode 172 of the
Yeah,
podcast.
just go listen to episode 172. Nidalee, right now, you're going to build Blade of the Ruin King and either to a Trinity Force or Iceborne Gauntlet, depending how far you were ahead, and then go tanky with her because Q is applies on hit effects in her, that is takedown in her Cougar form. And so she's allowed to do quite a bit extra damage because of that. That's basically the thing. You don't need to push very hard because her kit has a built-in push with her W, with Pounce and Swipe.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
it's
pretty
going to
much.
become viable.
I just
It's
answered.
going to take a lot.
Well, I actually really like Yorick, and I think he's actually really strong, especially with the recent changes to AD carry into the late game. Yorick late game with a good with a good healthy AD carry. Oh God.
Yorick, here's the funny thing. You guys ask all these questions, like the people are listening, and our listeners always ask questions. Why aren't people playing this? Why are people playing that? What is going on? You have to look at it this way. In solo queue, 95% of the champions are viable. Hell, I would say 100% of the champions are
Every
viable.
champ's viable in solo queue. I'd say that.
Yeah.
Urgot, totally.
Urgot.
No,
Hey,
he is. Like,
He's
all
got
these
the
champions.
yeah.
He's got the second lowest run right now. Nidalee fell to lowest today
What,
Right.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did.
Huh.
41% win rate right now.
because
Like-
people are still trying to figure out how to play her.
No, every champion is viable right now. When you guys look at this, stop looking at the LCS. Why aren't they playing the LCS? Well, because lane swaps and strategy and when they actually get aggressive is earlier than when you play in solo queue. So you can play Yorick in the mid lane. Like, he's really good in the mid lane right now. If you take him up against those utility supports, because utility supports can't push back, and he does a lot of AD damage early.
Yep.
Top lane, he can push out a lot of people fairly easily, but if you play him to like Renekton or Shyvana, they can definitely push you back just as hard and do quite a bit of damage. So when you are looking at somebody and asking what they're viable, think about what their kit does and where they could do that best. Now, if they're doing lots of AD damage and can shut somebody down because their kit, like Daze brought up earlier, you have Event Horizon up or you have your W up on Yorick, you are a force to be reckoned with because you're slowing them and doing damage to them or
Yeah.
stunning them, whatever.
Well, I saw
Yorick
one
is
here.
awesome. I love Yorick.
Why
because-
is TF coming back? Because Dade from Samsung Blue showed us that you're on Flash Ghost and you just roam heavily, and I mean
Because he
it's
has a
like
lot
a
of map
combination
pressure.
of all things. Yeah, it's just a bunch of
They fix his card so you can actually teleport and have his card up, and then you can
Yeah.
have a little bit of leeway, and then you can run Ghost and stay ahead of them and do quite a bit of damage
Yep.
with his passive. So it's the map pressure. The
Well,
reason he's
and-
coming back.
He was also. This happens so often with champions. Is that and this will happen with me and Soraka, I guarantee it, or me with like whoever I decided that I just don't think is very strong anymore. It's like a champion gets nerfed, like their range gets reduced or something, like what happened with Twisted Fate or their card or whatever, and then they automatically deem a champion not worth playing because others are stronger. But then they go back to that champion and like, oh wait a minute, they were actually good. We just stopped playing because they got nerfed. That
Right.
happens all the time, and it's happening with TF right now. Like, TF was never bad. You just had to be more skillful with him and his ultimates and using pick a card. That was it.
He was bad for a little.
he was
bad
a
for
bad
a
for a
little.
little.
In
League
bad
of
in the fact that it
Assassins.
took all. It was. Yeah, well, the assassin meta destroyed him as well. You have to remember that. too.
Yeah, but I mean, even that was just a lot. I don't know. Assassin meta happened so fast that people didn't know how to stop it, and then when people figured out how to stop it, it wasn't as bad. I felt like it wasn't as bad. I never had problems with assassins once I figured out that I just needed to play like Fizz or something. But I get
You're just countering an assassin with an
that's true.
assassin.
But that being said, like he was still pretty. I thought he was still pretty good. He supplied so much map pressure no matter what. Even if he was just playing, there was always that threat that TF could come at any second when he had his ultimate up. It's like the Pantheon effect.
TF is one of those champions that abuses the lack of communication in solo queue.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's
because
true too.
people don't tell you when he hits 6, people don't tell you when he's missing from lane,
Which-
and all of a sudden you're caught by his ult. Like, he just abuses every lack of ping and typing in chat in
Yeah.
solo queue.
I know what Aspiration's about to say.
I want to say it, then let me say it.
I know, I'm
solo
gonna
queue
say it.
people, and because you brought it up and it's totally, absolutely needs to be said, if you're playing with a champion that has a global cooldown, like has a global ultimate like that, fucking call it out. A Karthus,
Yep.
a TF, a Shen, a GP, I don't care who it is.
A
Say, oh,
Ziggs.
there's 6. Call that shit out. Don't ever leave. Don't like that's the worst thing you can do as a laner against these people is to not call that.
And something you can do, even if you're not laning against them, is take 5 seconds when you are in champ select or when you're in loading and look up the cooldown for that spell, and then when you see it go off, just keep in mind and warn people when it's back up, because chances are, especially if you're in lower elos, nobody else is going to do that, and it could save yourself and your teammates.
That's support mentality. Holy cow. So, I feel okay. So better advice: just go play support and just learn to call stuff out, and then you'll do what Daze is telling us to do all the time.
It works.
Yeah, it does. I remember I started calling wards all the time. I started calling like
I don't know.
buff
Buff timers.
timers are key.
Yeah, I call a lot of shit in solo queue. I'll call sums. I'll call buff timers, wards, cooldowns. Just as long as you can keep timers, you'll do great in solo queue. Because that means not everybody keeps, especially at lower ELOs, not everybody knows how to keep timers effectively. I mean, and then you can like infer when, if you like know your opponent's starting a buff, then you can try and like time around that, and it's actually really easy. Like, okay, well, if we go into their jungle, if you type in chat like, okay, around 8:15, let's group up and invade a buff. I can't tell you how many times that's made a difference in solo queue games or something like that.
Especially when you have like someone that really peaks around there, like someone that's ultimate is just amazing.
Yep.
That completely affects what could happen in a 2v2 situation or a 3v3 situation. Like, you'd be
People
surprised. Go ahead.
People think communication in solo queue is really hard, but it's actually not. Like, in lower elo, if you time a ward, people are going to think you're a freaking smurf, and they're going to listen to everything you say.
Yeah.
That's
and
true,
as you
too.
get higher up, people start knowing. In lower elos, people just don't know what the right decision is. So if you can show that you're making the right decisions, they'll follow you. Not all the time. It's not going to happen all the time. It sucks. But most of the time, people will listen. And as you get higher elos, like even in Plat, it happens where people know the right decision, but they're not going to acknowledge it or think about it until somebody else points it out. And once you do, if you say, hey, let's get Dragon, everyone's like, oh yeah, and then everyone will rush to that. So it's really not as difficult as it sounds. The difficult part about it is keeping a positive spin on it when you're doing it.
Yeah. I saw one here. I saw this question twice, and I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, and to the point, because there was an argument on Twitter about this last night, including one of the people in this call.
I won't say anything. I promise.
What do you guys think of Jungle's timers coming to the new Summoner's Rift?
I think it's complete crap.
I think
I'm
it's-
not going to talk about it.
I
Because
don't.
you guys are probably gonna talk about it on the podcast tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
Asterishan says it's crap.
I hate it.
Days, if you want to read a book about why jungle timers and all that stuff, I actually read it this morning. It was kind of good. I'd give it a New York Times. I'd make it a New York Times bestseller if I could, but I just can't do that. So
I think it's completely unfair, and it takes away more like skill out of the game. Like it was one of the things that determined like how good you were of a jungler or of a support or just any player in general was keeping track of timers and being aware of what's going on the map. Like that's something that
It honestly just makes people lazy.
yeah, and
It's
it promotes being bad, like and not paying attention, and I feel like that's like completely silly. I hope it doesn't go through. They can put
Well,
it on
guys,
the
I
PvE.
actually have to jet right now.
All right, see you, Pun.
I will be around here in a few minutes to talk to you guys when you're done. So continue to answer questions if they have them, and I will talk to you guys a little later.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
See you.
See you, man.
But yeah, that's my spiel, was because I started taking up, especially like when I played Leona support and people called me out for not calling stuff like timers, like, hey, why didn't you call out Dragon Timer? And then it's like you realize that that's something that's absolutely mandatory, and maybe not just the support's job, but everyone's. But like that being said, it's still your job to look when you kill something and call it
know.
out.
I mean, as the guy, if you've ever played on a team with me before, you know that, like, a semi-serious team, that I usually love to be the shot caller, and I love keeping track of stuff and making sure that I have the dragon timers and buff timers and all this shit in the back of your head, because there's so much strategy that can come from it. Like, for example, I was playing Orianna in solo queue the other day, and we were playing against a Ziggs, and we had a team that could not siege turrets to save our lives. We were a hard engaged team against a siege team, and I mean we were engaged, but we couldn't dive turrets. So I was sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, we need to. About 9 minutes in the game, I say to my team, we need to deny every single blue that we possibly can from Ziggs, because I mean, it's a blue buff Ziggs. What are you going to do against it? I've played Ziggs in solo queue games before where I've sieged turrets 1v3 against people for 7 minutes straight while my team was off on the other side of the map. His wave clear is just so strong. But sometimes you just have to deny buffs. So it's good to keep track of timers and such, and it takes kind of a strategy,
Badger, you need
because-
to hold me back. You need to hold me back. Spork's talking shit in the chat. You need to hold me
Orc,
back.
it's not about change.
Hold
being
me
bad.
back.
Like, I am all for a lot of the things that Riot's implemented, and I 100% think that they need to create a way to make this game more accessible to newer players and help them learn the right things. I don't think you have to do that by dumbing down things that are already in place and removing a potential strategy in the game.
Just take
I
it
think
out of ranks. That's all you have
in
to do.
addition,
I mean,
in
fight it in
addition-
normal games. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
maybe normal games or bot games. Like I'm completely okay with that. Just like they have tower range indicators
Yes.
in bot games, we've add in the jungle timers into bot games. It helps people learn. Everyone has to do it.
Yep.
That's fine. My other problem, which I didn't even list in the big huge Twitter rant that I had yesterday, is that it removes room for human error, and human
Mhm.
error is a lot of what makes this game. You
Absolutely.
capitalize everything you do in this game. You're capitalizing on an error that somebody else made, and you're trying to eliminate your own errors. So we've seen it in professional play, where professional League of Legends players have mistimed buffs or barons, and it's affected the game directly. And I think that when you have that opportunity, and the people who are devoted and take the 5 seconds it takes to do it, everyone keeps saying that it's so easy and it doesn't take time to do. If that was true, everyone would do it.
Yep.
It's a matter of whether or not you're committed to doing that. If you don't like doing it, you don't have to do it. But the people who want to do it and take the time to do it should be rewarded for putting in that extra effort.
And
That's my view.
And on top of that, like if it's supposed to be removing obscurity, if I don't know if you guys have recently played against AIs, but they added a thing of like several patches ago that added a range on turrets so you could see how far a turret could shoot. Add the same thing to bots against AIs like that. Like, oh, I don't know jungle timers, or I don't know how to keep track of them effectively, or et cetera, and we are trying to remove the obscurity of just, I don't remember type of deal. Then you play bots that have that already integrated. Same thing with like there have been so many ideas to help new players get better at learning the game that one, you could just go online or the Journey to 30 or etc. or have you, or Riot could just add it to the first bot games in the first place.
Someone
Even
please.
if they added in the timer to chat, like they have Dragon and Baron, which I'm also not advocating this. I don't think it's a good idea. But even if you had it added into chat where it was like blue buff down or whatever, or you've slain blue buff, it still leaves that opportunity. People still have to do the math. They still have to time it out. They still have to track it. It's still another way for you to outplay your opponents.
Yeah. Someone please ask another question in chat so we
Yeah,
can get off of this.
I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about this anymore
Anymore.
either, because
Somebody asked tits or ass. God, that's
that's tough. That's really tough.
That is a Twitch chat. That is a Twitch chat question. Days, you want to start us off with this one?
Spork.
Is bold the wrong answer?
Spork, I am totally willing to get in TeamSpeak with you after this podcast is done, but I don't want to have an argument. I will definitely get into TeamSpeak with you after this is done, and we will talk
I will
about
take
this.
your mother. Don't
But-
be Mantooth.
But right now,
I'll
we're
seafood
going to talk
dinner
about
and
something
never
else.
call her again.
What do you think of a gameplay mode where every champion would do they already had that. It was called that 4th of July thing where everybody was OP and nobody was OP. And I can't remember what it was. Earth mode, yeah.
Earth mode.
That was annoying.
I love Earth mode.
Earth mode was so awesome. I played Warfare.
I liked it until everybody started banning Fizz constantly, and then I was pissed off.
I played Zed a lot.
Yeah, Zed with 6 shadows was pretty stupid
Zed,
too.
six Shadow Zed,
I played Sona
Yeah.
until it removed her.
of course.
Yeah.
Actually played Thresh the one game, and that was fun.
Leona was fun too. But yeah, Earth mode was great.
Because ass is better. Actually, shit. Well, question, what do you...
I'm a late guy. I'm not even gonna lie.
I don't know. I like girls for their personalities.
Oh, so
Liar.
you would say that with a
Liar.
girl in the call.
Liar.
With a girl in the call.
What? Is
Oh,
this my
wrong
nerd
guy.
side coming out, or the fact that I'm still a virgin still... What? I'm being 100% fucking honest right now.
Oh, no, it's just funny that you said it. Alright, I'm gonna have to edit some stuff.
You're gonna highlight that shit. I guarantee it. He's going to highlight that and put it on this channel. He'll probably make a gif of it somehow. And
Anyway, can we get like a legitimate question?
yeah,
guys?
can we actually get a legitimate question?
Thank
Because
you. Or else we will just call it and I'll go get food and do something else. And this is where we wait.
Shields don't apply to true damage. Yeah, I thought they do.
True damage is well, unless you're playing against Vayne, in which case the best way to counter Vayne is to stop her early and win before 25 minutes. Because Vayne's one of those champions that once she starts to get rolling, there's no stopping her.
Yeah.
At all. Because she gains bonus damage due to percentage of health, which is still true damage.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous and completely broken, but no one ever talks about it because her early game is so bad.
With all this true damage talk, top lane Wukong Elder Lizard.
No.
Never take Elder Lizard in no lane. The
Unless
only
you-
jungle item that worked was Wraith, was Spectral
with
Wraith.
Mordekaiser.
Right.
With Mordekaiser of all people. Like, you didn't
Or-
take Wraith with, like, pretty much anybody except
Vlad.
Vlad.
or Vlad, yeah. Or people that, you like, didn't,
Rip
Require-
Reaper,
yeah.
Broken Hearts and Crushed Dreams.
You need them, and you can't be taking jungle items when you're not in the jungle.
Riot did get the jungle items in lane, but they did it for a reason, and that's because in order to make jungle and support relevant and give them items they need to carry, they have to keep them from being abused in lane. So it's not like Riot is trying to penalize the lanes. Riot is trying to make jungle and support relevant.
They're also trying to reduce the amount of, like, it kind of goes back onto, like, you making mistakes for yourself and you have to kind of, like, either dealing with the consequences or figuring out a way to come back from it. You'll notice that they got rid of a lot of the gold per 5 items simply because they're tired of players getting behind and then building, like, several GP5 items and then just sitting in lane for 10 minutes and getting that, like, lead back because in solo queue, like, some of the biggest problems is learning how to finish a game. Oh, I got ahead in my lane and now I don't know what to do. Like, I'm winning. Do I just keep abusing the win? Well, soon they're, like, turtling at their inner turret or their their inner turret, and they have GP items that just allow them to get gold back up to even, rather than you actually suffering because you messed up. So they wanted to get rid of like jungle items because they didn't want you getting bonus gold, or they didn't want you, being able to come back because you messed up so easily. They wanted you to actually, like, well, I screwed up and now I got to deal with it. I need to figure something out. Like, not just sit here and turtle for days. Untold.
Right?
I'm gonna do that every single time. Like, in game, I'm just gonna be like, dude, this freaking Vi is camping me for days, and then a second later, type back in Untold. And no one will know what I'm talking about, but I'll know.
No one will know.
And then one person will
Are there-
finally be like, wait, I know that name. Yep,
Are there
exactly.
any other questions for us?
Yeah. What do you people think of the next game mode? What do you think it'll be? There's a lot of speculation. Something kind of went around Reddit on the League of Legends and kind of several forums about a three-team Summoners, not Summoners Rift, but like a three-team thing going on. That was really interesting. Let me try and find the link. I'll go ahead and look if I can.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, while I have a second before someone else asks another question, or I'm looking for this, I am uploading the videos for Battle Arena right now. Depending on how my internet decides to be and how fast these go up, they will be done within the next 2 hours to 4 hours. So just bear with it, and they'll be up for you guys. Don't worry. Oh,
Cool.
All right. Let me look.
3-team Dominion, apparently. Learning to be flexible with your builds is a good way to climb. Just don't build the same way every game. Correct. I mean, build path is what you want to change up more than anything else. I mean, if you build, like, 3 core items, if you're playing an 80 carry, you're always an old... Before 410, it was usually Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer on everybody except, like, Lucian and Vayne. Although I still built Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer on Vayne. It was pretty good. Game just get over with. The game's been over with for like
A bit.
30 minutes now. I don't know. When did I add you guys to the call? Because it was like 5 minutes after that. Oh, we've been talking for like almost an hour now. That's cool.
I always wonder how that ends up working out, because I'll like edit the Q&A and highlight it and be like, how in the hell did we talk for an hour, but it felt so much shorter than that? Like, I could talk for days about League of Legends, Untold. Alright. I can't find it, but I'm going to keep looking.
It's alright. Let's get super crazy here. Where do you see League in 10 years? I don't know.
I hope it's not like World of Warcraft, where it's spiraling down the drain. And
Yeah, I mean, I think esport has like a legitimate thing to be like a major thing. I mean, look at Dota. Let's all be honest for a second. Take a look at Dota. I'm gonna look up the compendium because it's supposed to be like it's almost $10K or $10 million for the compendium.
Okay, I found it. Here it is. Posting.
$9,920,000 for for the international. And I don't even know when that is. That's not like for another month, is it?
I don't know.
No.
Just in the nib, it's because AD Evelyn is actually pretty freaking strong. And I don't remember exactly. Does her Q, her hate spike, proc physical damage now?
I think they made it proc magic damage so she wasn't as strong, but I'm not sure.
Well, it's possible because...
I can look that up.
Yeah, I know her E does proc physical damage.
Did the fans donate most of that money? Yes, actually. The way the compendium work, I'm gonna go off on my old Dota roots for a little bit.
Yeah.
They started with $1 million, and then they do this thing every year called the compendium, which is like stuff related to the international. And they add more stuff. The tiers, actually, it started like last year. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I didn't follow Dota esports until like TI3 or just like halfway through or towards the end of TI 2, but it started at $1 million, and they sold this thing called the Compendium, and it was $10, and every Compendium purchased put $2.50 into this prize pool, and they've raised $8.9 million doing this. So they've made actually like a metric shit ton of money just off this thing.
Good guy, Valve.
Yeah, hate spike deals magic damage.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm pretty sure it's because of E. Like, and honestly, it's pretty good. Like, of all the jungle items aside from Pharaoh Flare, Lizard is definitely by far the best. Like, comparably to a champion on a champion with other champions, like, you're not gonna build Elder Lizard on the Fiddlesticks, but like Wraith just isn't as good on Fiddlesticks as, you know, Elder Lizard is on Pantheon type of deal. Like, it's just because it's so good. It's such a good item. Like, true damage is super strong.
Any other questions?
Are we
Because I kind of want to go eat too.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
And I'm tired of talking.
I'm not. I could talk for days.
I did 5 games tonight. I'm so fucking exhausted.
Dude, that used to be me, like, when I
I know.
was way more active with Victorious Gaming before my new cast. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It got exhausting.
I know, dude.
Like that
We
one
did
time.
that 5.
Yeah! Oh my
Holy
goodness.
shit, that was awesome. But
It was awesome, but at the end I was just like,
Who
you know what,
took-
I'm
okay.
done with League of Legends for about a week.
all right. Who took the biggest hits and nerfs due to the Bloodthirster nerf? Go
Lucian.
listen to.
Lucian.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Go listen to episode 172 of the Trinity Force podcast at trinityforcepodcast.com. They talk about 80 carry itemization for for what seems like forever and a quarter in that episode.
But, I mean, honestly, it was Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian Graves.
Oh,
Graves
whatever.
Raven.
We're talking about, like, people, like, biggest hits, yes, but at the same time, we're talking about people that were more popular, and Lucian was by far, or, like, always in it.
I mean, I haven't been watching OGN. Shit.
That's good. You know, I haven't checked my freaking league teams in, like, a week and a half. I probably lost, like, 8.
Oh, they're in Korean. Never mind.
Yeah, no one plays Graves, because Graves sucks. Fun fact, I actually win as pool party Graves to Fanime, but whatever.
What is pool party Graves? I was gonna. If I ever did that, I was gonna do like pool party Shen.
You're gonna
have
laugh.
like
I'm doing Tibbers next year.
you're doing two.
Because my friend is doing Annie, and she was like, I need a Tibbers, and you're tall, so... It's like, well, thanks, okay.
I can do Tibbers.
It's hot as... You don't understand. Like, I live in the Bay Area, and in particular, San Jose is kind of in, like, the armpit of California, and it's freaking gross hot almost all the time there. Especially in the summer.
in Mexico,
And
aren't you?
I'm gonna... No, like, the Bay Area is a good 800 miles away from...
Oh, I thought you were saying.
Mexico.
I thought you were saying San Jose.
But
I'm
San
like,
Jose
well,
is
San Jose
like-
is in like the
San
quarter
Jose
of-
is like it's in the armpit of the bay, and you
Yeah.
don't get a whole lot of wind over there. But anyway, it's hot, and I have to be in a bear suit, and it's gonna be even hotter. And I'm not
Oh,
excited.
San Jose. I'm getting my. I'm sorry, I don't know my locations of Californian cities when I live in Ohio, dude.
Well, you should, because California's the best.
Bakersfield is apparently the armpit of California. I
I
live in Northeast Ohio.
That's so true, though.
It was
Yeah.
like 87 degrees here today. Kind
Yeah.
of sucks.
Bakersfield is pretty gross. It's boring. There's nothing out there.
Yes, 80 carries are weaker early and stronger late.
Absolutely, but I still hate the fact that, like, Lucian just... One of the best parts about Lucian was his early game power.
Have any of the casters seen LCS live?
I almost went
No.
to championships. I almost went to NA
Once
championships
again-
last year, but I did not
once again-
go.
Days and I are from Ohio and New York, so it's a cross-country trip.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the
And-
only one out of the Trinity Forest network that could go.
He's
Yeah,
actually
on a
the only
day
one that's in
trip.
California.
Yeah, that would be okay. Like,
hmm
hashtag
That and I'm a
California.
poor college student.
Yeah.
So
that's why I didn't go. Like, tickets were too expensive. California is the best. AMC. Alright, guys. Well, if there's nothing else, we're going to cut this stream. I'm going to highlight, get that uploaded for you, and we're going to call it a cast. A successful one at that, but still a cast. Don't forget, guys, Bronze Bootcamp, for those of you that are bronze and require even further aid than today's normal session. Those go live on Saturdays, so, you know, go. Badger knows the exact time.
which times? Wait, what?
Bronze
I
Boot
wasn't
Camp.
paying attention.
Bronze Bootcamp.
Bronze Boot Camp, noon Eastern to 3, right before NALCS.
For you California awesomos, that's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and I actually don't have to work on Saturday, so I'll be able to sit in TeamSpeak or whatever voice communication program we use and talk LCS with people, and I'm super excited.
On top of that, don't forget, guys, if you have any new friends that are learning how to play the game, I got the new cast, the new episode for Journey to 30 coming up tomorrow. The thing I need to talk about Pwn 2 is possibly expanding that to 2 days a week, just because I feel like it's not a lot of content for a new player who's becoming addicted to the game and playing it almost every day. So they're going to be learning the game a lot faster than content that I'm going to be providing. So I want to get that out to 2, but we'll see how that ends up happening. On top of that, don't forget, we have an email, battlearena@trainingforcepodcast.com. Don't forget to email with any questions, concerns. But that being said, if you have any particular questions about, say, a champion, unless you want like dead-on specific advice, not like, hey, how come, you know, Rengar, I don't want to talk about Rengar because he gets talked about all the time, but like, hey, how come LeBlanc is so affected by her silence? Send that to feedback@trainingforcepodcast.com, not at Battle Arena. If you're more like, hey, how would, I don't know, how did I play in the last game? How would these two champions work together, and can I get specific critique if I opt to do it next Battle Arena, those sorts of things, then yes, send them to us. But if not, feedback@trainingforcepodcast.com. Guys, got anything
Right.
else? Want to plug anything?
Nope.
Follow us on Twitter
Follow
at
us on-
Badger Sunpilo. Well,
Lol. Don't follow me. Don't bother. I don't say anything ever. You can follow me if you want, but I don't really care about the whole like popularity deal. So just
and then
follow someone that'll actually tell you shit.
Days Untold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at Days Untold.
If you
Days
wanna-
Untold, pretty much my name everywhere, so
Yeah.
you see it, it's me.
If you want to see anything from me, just follow my Twitch. I go live often enough to be.
Alright, on that note, we are going to probably end.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Days.
Thanks for watching.
joining
Love you
us.
all.
So.
Thanks for having me. Have a good night.